Heyo Tumblr. So several weeks ago, when Liz and I were at the mill race in Columbus, Indiana, we were having lunch with Carrie and Becky and Pump afterwards, and we were sitting at the bar, and so it was kind of awkward to talk to one another. And I was demolishing my food, and I looked up and realized that the end of the bar was like laughing at me. Because they said something to the effect of how I had a really expressive face, and so that they missed the fact that I hadn't done any coffee dates in a while, and so they said I should do one, and I was like, oh yeah, I miss coffee dates too, I should do that, and then I didn't, because real life got in the way. However, I have a really terrifying story from yesterday that would be far too long to type out, and I really doubt that I would actually do it justice in prose, so I decided to do one of these. Again, not coffee. I'm trying to get back on the hydrate train, because I've been drinking a lot of beer and a lot of wine this week, so I'm trying to, I gave myself a sort of week-long vacation of good eating and moving my person, so that's going to stop Monday. Anyway, if we were having coffee, you would already know about the marathon because I've told everyone about it. I've worn 2 marathon shirts this past week, for which one of my more smart-ass students made fun of me, and I said, the haters are gonna hate. I'm gonna ride this brag train as long as I fucking can. So I haven't done anything there. School has been unremarkable, and I've been playing catch up. That's been fine. So let's cut to the real heart of what's on my mind today, which was the fucking nightmare visit that I had to the dentist yesterday that should have been the most fucking routine thing I've done in several weeks. It should have taken no longer than 10 minutes, and it ended up being an hour of agony and fear and thinking I was going to end up in emergency dental surgery. So the backstory is that I, unbeknownst to me until about a year ago, grind my teeth really badly at night. I probably should have known because I have some teeth that have, they've been worn down to little points, which is kind of cool, but it's not, good actually for your dental health. So about a year ago, they looked at my teeth and figured out I was doing this, and actually probably was the cause of the migraines that I only started getting 2 years ago, because I haven't actually had any since we figured out what this issue was. So anyway, my dentist said, okay, so you do this thing, and so you should get this thing. It's called an NTI. It functions similarly to a mouth guard, except it's not one of those generic things that you buy at Target, and it's all up in your grill, and it's not fitted to your teeth, and so it's really uncomfortable, and most people have a really hard time sleeping in them. But it's this tiny little thing, probably about this big, that goes over your bottom teeth, and it keeps you, it prevents you from being able to make your teeth meet while you're sleeping. And so even if your jaw is working and you're clenching and you're trying to grind, you physically cannot. And they make it specially for you. They take impressions of your teeth so it fits. It's kind of like a retainer in that sense, but it's much smaller. And it's made of indestructible. It's some sort of plastic. I don't know what, but it's really hard and you can't fuck it up. You just can't. So a year ago I had this thing made. And the thing about this thing is that it needs to fit your teeth perfectly. It needs to be fucking locked on your teeth, so that you can't inadvertently pop it off with your tongue in the middle of the night and fucking make yourself choke to death. So that's important. I am a paranoid person, and so when I first got the thing, I was just testing it all the time. And then finally one day I was able to pop it off, and I was like, nope, can't sleep, can't do it, I'm gonna die. So they remade it for me. And it turned out that they made one that was really teeny for me, but that doesn't work for everybody, so they made me one that was slightly bigger. I had to get completely new impressions. Anyway, so I went to my cleaning a month ago, and told them, like, hey, I'm getting to the point again where I can pop it off, and that makes me nervous, and blah, blah, blah. And they said, okay, no big deal. Just make an appointment and bring it in, and we'll reline it, you know, so that it fits better on your teeth. So they don't make a new one, they just put something in it to make it fit my teeth better. Short appointment. So I go yesterday, and I show up to the dentist on our fall break. I had moved the appointment because it conflicted with something else, and then I was going to move it because it was the break, and I was like, no, go be an adult. And so I was an adult. I showed up, and they took me back there, and I'm not a big fan of the dentist, really. The hygienists are, like, fine, and I don't usually see him that much, so it's not a big deal, but he does these things. He works with a hygienist, and he does them. So they, like, get to work. I don't know what they're doing. It's happening in my mouth. So they start going to work, and they put something, they're like actually working with my device, and they put something in it, presumably that's going to line it and make it fit tighter. And they put it in my mouth, and it has to sit there for a while to set up. And he's like talking to her. It's clear that she's never done one of these before. And he's talking to her and saying, oh yeah, you know, this is how you know when it's ready to come out, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like staring in his face, waiting for it to be done. So they go to finally try to take it out of my mouth, and he can't get it off my teeth. And he goes, huh. And so he sits there, and he pulls and pulls and pulls, and I can feel that it's not fucking moving. It's not moving at all. It's not going anywhere. And he's like, huh, that's really strange. And he keeps trying to, like, pull, like, physically wrangle this thing out of my mouth. And I'm sitting in the chair going, okay. And at this point, he goes, well, that's never happened before, which is an excellent thing to hear when you are a patient having a sort of medical procedure done to you. It's really comforting to hear. He sounded calm the entire time. However, I have to imagine that was some sort of ruse in order to keep me from freaking out. But what was I going to do? I was strapped down in a fucking dentist chair. So he's like, yeah, that's never happened before. So he's sitting there, he's like, huh, like trying to figure out what he has to do at this point. And I'm like, how did I end up in this nightmare? Are my teeth gonna get ripped out of my lower jaw? Am I going to find myself in emergency dental surgery because we can't get this thing off my teeth? What are we gonna do? And so the hygienist offered, like, she has nothing to offer because she's never seen this before either. And so he's like, huh, and he sits there, like, trying to figure it out. And I'm like, something needs to be happening right now, please. So he finally says, okay, well, I can't get this off. And so, obviously, you know, we're going to have to do something else. So what I'm going to have to do is cut it off your teeth, like my device that's stuck on my teeth. I'm going to have to cut it off, and we're going to have to make you a brand new one. All right, what else? There was nothing I could do. Like, okay, do that. So he goes off to get some shit, and the hygienist is like, yeah, it's so weird. This has never happened. And I'm like, fucking great. I'm really super excited that I got to be a fucking case study for you guys. So she's like, yeah, so how are you doing on time? I know this was supposed to be a short appointment. And I said, well, what else am I supposed to do? Like, I can't walk out of here with this thing melded to my teeth. And she said, well, you know, because we're going to have to break it apart to get it off your teeth. And so we'll have to make you a new one. Can you stay for the impressions now? Or we can make you a different appointment. I was like, no, I have to deal with this today. Just do it. And at that point, she got really, like, butthurt that I wasn't being all Midwestern and polite anymore. And so she kind of stopped trying to make small talk with me. So anyway, the dentist comes back, and he proceeds to start to, like, cut it apart using the same drill that he uses to drill cavities. I don't know what else he would have used, but this thing is not particularly thick, and so the whole time he's working, which, by the way, he never gave any indication of any kind of progress he was making. I didn't feel anything moving in my mouth, and so I sat there for 45 minutes thinking, nothing's happening. I'm going to have this on for the rest of my life. That's really great. So he's drilling, and I'm also really paranoid that he's gonna like slip and hit my tooth, and that's gonna hurt like shit. So he's drilling, and then he's getting all these other instruments to like try and get in the cracks and widen them, and he's twisting. It doesn't feel really pleasant. This goes on forever and ever and ever. He doesn't let me know how things are going. And then finally, 45 minutes later, he manages to get the whole thing off. And so he's like, okay, great, feel around and see if there's anything still stuck on your teeth, and she's gonna take your impressions. Bye! And he fucking leaves. So I don't have a chance to ever, like, actually say anything to him after the procedure is done. And so she's clearly uncomfortable because she knows I am fucking raging at this point. And she's like, okay, let's just get your impressions done really quickly. And she comes in and she fucking does them. And while she's working on them, she's like, since you had to deal with this morning, we're next door to this day spa, and so Dr. Cheddar's going to give you a $50 gift certificate to go get something done there. They do relaxing massages and things like that. And I'm like, it felt so dirty. It felt like fucking hush money. And I was like, that's great, just whatever. So we finally finish everything. And we finish. She has the gall to say, oh, look, it's 11:57. We got you done 3 minutes before I said we would. And I was like, that's great. Congratulations. And I fucking left. It was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And I have to go back in 3 weeks to get the thing when it's done. And then I'm going to find a new dentist. So if we were having coffee, that's what I would have told you. My teeth are fine. Thanks, Tumblr. I'll talk to you later.